There's no business like
showbiz. Actually, hey, I need to play some. I need to play some bangers.
And mash.
Some my bangers, my beans and mash.
We're going live.
Man, we were just at a wedding this weekend, and it felt good. It was great.
Yeah. I have a wedding this Monday.
Monday wedding.
Sweet.
Okay.
All right, got some viewers, some watchers trickling in.
I hear Steve.
People. Just a little summer vibes for this fall. I don't know what it's like in Tampa, Raleigh, but it's like 50 and cloudy and miserable here. So I'm trying to get a little.
It is, bro. It is perfectly sunny outside.
Is it really?
It's
perfectly sunny. Like my
something.
fantasy team, 6-1.
Ooh.
Brady putting up 40 fantasy points, and the Tampa Bay defense didn't do a ton, but.
I went into my game on Sunday with like a 40-point lead, and then Tyler Lockett of the Seattle Seahawks put up 55 fantasy points. So I lost.
All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. So you're probably like, hey, Taylor, you're going live every morning, and now you have two guys on, and I don't know what's happening. So I want to go ahead and just let everybody know. So these are the guys with my podcast, The Unicorn Finders, Jake and Dan. And before Dan dives into kind of who we are, I just want to say, thank you for tuning in. So we're going to do this every Wednesday. So every Wednesday, Unicorn Finders is coming live at 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern. And we're just going to hang for 15, 20 minutes. And honestly, we're probably just going to vent, just chop it up on some topics. Honestly, probably just it's just going to be a rant session for 15, 20 minutes. So just hanging out with the Unicorn Finders. So Dan, if you want to let the people know who we are and kind of what we're doing or trying to do, rather.
Yeah, no, thanks Taylor. Jake, it's always good to see you as well. Unicorn Finders is still growing. We're still, what we want to be and what we are is we want to a few things. One, with our podcast, we want to tell and share awesome stories. We want to find people that are changing and shifting paradigms. We want to find unicorns, whether that's people doing really awesome things, whether that's companies doing really awesome things, or a collective group of, relationships, or a collective group of people that are doing some really cool things to change and shift the way that we think, the way that we act, the way that society is moving and shaking. And we want to find those people, whether it's one person that is a part of, some massive organization that's, creating and drawing change, or whether that's one person that created a startup that's doing something. So whatever it is, we want to tell and share stories of people that are bringing the unicorn factor to business relationships and I guess just people as a whole, right? Yeah, right, Jay? Hey, you coined the phrase, so.
Well, I mean, that's basically it. All of us have our individual following, which we definitely don't deserve and are thankful for. So try to shine some light on people that either need it more than us, or that we think are doing cool things, or that we just want to talk to because they are doing those things. So it's we're thankful for sure. That's definitely one, and always curious is another theme I'm going with. But today we're going to do a little bit of a dogging on what we have seen on some really rough company marketing strategies. And not saying that I'm definitely not an expert on content, but I am an expert of judging other people's content. So I'll start this off. I've been seeing a lot of companies posting stuff that's completely not applicable to their clientele or to their followers. And I've got some examples, but I also would love to know your thoughts on this. Maybe there's some science behind, see, we're happy and joyful, and this is what it is. That's buy our socks, because we have world's best boss day. So buy my socks, but I cannot tell you now how many companies I've seen dropping from some random person in their office or their warehouse. We're celebrating International Bosses Day. and pushing it out to all of their employees of 10,000 employees to celebrate that when they have nothing to do with engagement, boss, or any of that kind of stuff. I'd love to know your thoughts on why should I, as the consumer, care about the random person's boss's day, or, hey, it's number one sales guy's birthday out of Ohio, and buy our SaaS platform because it's his birthday today. What?
Hey, Jake, I'll be honest with you. I think that I'm on the opposite end of your thought process. Not totally. I'm not on the opposite.
This is why we do this. This is why we do this.
Correct me.
Like, if you're over here on the right, if you're on the right side, well, this is my left, your right, and then this is the middle. I'm like here, right? Like I like humanizing companies a little bit. Taylor, what are your thoughts? Like before I break down every argument that Jake made.
Tell their story there. Tell their story. Happy birthday.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the way it's done, right? I think branding and marketing, I mean, here's the deal. One of the main topics for those of you who are watching, one of the main reasons why Unicorn Finders was started was because of branding and marketing, right? We all have a passion for it. This, again, Unicorn Finders kind of came out of Jake, Dan, and I were very fortunate to lead a session at our company's global conference when we used to travel. Those were the days back in the day.
Yeah, good time.
And so like that's how this thing kind of came to. And so, I think we're all passionate about this, and I'm glad you brought this up, Jake, for a topic today. But I think it's the way it's done, right? I think it's the way people put together, I don't know what, like marketing material, PDF slicks, how to promote it. I think there needs to be more storytelling, right? I have no problem with somebody saying today is Brad Smith's manager birthday in Milwaukee. Is Milwaukee is Wisconsin or Minnesota?
Yeah, it's Wisconsin. Yeah.
So Milwaukee, Wisconsin, right? And it's like, oh, that's fine. But man, like tell Brad's story, right? Brad came from here. But I think what Jake is saying is I think there's so much stock imagery. There's so much stock wording.
Oh God, yeah.
There's no heart behind marketing. I think marketing and branding right now, and this is going to go much longer, 15 minutes. We really dive in because we talked about it in one of our podcasts. Check it out, Unicorn Finders. It's one of the early pods. But I think it's just how you do it. So Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, no, Taylor, you hit it. Jake, I don't want to say that I don't disagree. I think part of it is companies struggle with a couple different things. One is like they don't want to be super corporate, right? They don't want to only try to sell socks, right? Like if all you do is post pictures of socks, I think that people are going to get fatigue of that, right? Like, I think what people find and relate to is other people, right? So like whether that's the story or whether it's just humanizing the company and the brand behind just the product, right? Like they can have.
Let me tell you a story.
Right outside my window. Okay. Well, you're selling socks, but like.
Let's do a quick sock marketing campaign, and you want to humanize it, which I agree with. Humanizing, good. Birthdays.
Jake's getting punched Bombas socks to no end is what's happening.
Yeah, he is.
First of all, I'm a huge Bombas fan.
I've been getting all of their ads.
And their ads are all storytelling, actually. Most of theirs are them. I'm at home and I'm sliding across the way, risky business style, or I'm doing this kind of thing. But really what they have is just incredibly quality product. But what you're saying and what you're arguing is that you just want to see the people that are involved in the company, whether they're actors or whether they're employees, just showing off their product, which is a sock. And what I'm saying is that I don't know if that always resonates with somebody. Not everybody's. You didn't hear my marketing pitch.
Well, that's because you took too long. So now it's my turn to talk. So I think what you're missing is that I do think that people like to connect to the individual people that are there. I don't think that your marketing campaign should be solely about people's birthdays or congratulations to this person for making their sales national trip or for this person for National Bosses Day, right? But I think what it does is it humanizes it more than it just being a particular product. That it's actually a company, right? That is actually a unicorn, if you will, of what we're trying to do. And it's the people that make up the unicorn. It's not just the product, right? Like Bombas can make the best socks ever, but if the people that are there aren't passionate about it, then then maybe maybe it never gets out there. Maybe that people don't put their energy
Yep.
right in it, or maybe they don't feel appreciated. A lot of marketing isn't just for the consumer; it's also for their internal employees as well, to make them feel like they're a part of the bigger picture of the company as well. So it's not just all external as much as it's sometimes that internal, hey, like we really do appreciate the people that are busting their butts, 50 hours a week. And yes, they're getting paid, but how cool is it to recognize a customer service person or a warehouse worker that, otherwise doesn't have that visibility. All right, now tell me about your stock campaign.
What you're getting at is the I love my boyfriend post on Instagram. That's the same thing to me, where it's like you have to be through the lens on the other side in order to be on this side of the lens, right? To make it worth anything. Because you could go be a terrible spouse and then post a picture of you guys. Here, just smile for me real quick.
Right.
Let's do this, which probably happens more often than not, which is why you don't see those pictures on my stuff, because we do it the other way. But having like the real relationships in those companies, I think if you're not promoting that culture internally, then why would someone who doesn't even know you care? Now, if you're, and I'm specifically talking about the It's Boss's Day birthday post day, by the way, not telling stories, because that to me is like templated marketing. Like I just copied and pasted this off of my, certificate that I got, that's trying to do well. If you don't have these 4 steps, then you
sure. Well, all right. Well, let me push the opposite way then. So like we obviously, and this is, talking about relationships, we've all talked about, the love languages in that book, right? Yeah. And that everybody is driven by different things, right? So whether it's quality time, whether it's gifts, whether it's acts of service, whether it's something else, and then whether it's words of affirmation, I'm missing whatever it is. And so some people are going to be motivated intrinsically and extrinsically by that, right? And so sometimes people post those not just because of what you want to hear, or not because of what they think other people want to hear, but what sometimes they feel like you need to hear, right? So like maybe that post about National Bosses Day isn't so much to speak to you, the consumer that's buying Bombas socks. Maybe it's saying, hey, like we really do appreciate that John Smith, manager, was that the name that you used, is like doing some really great things, and here is us affirming to our followers that this person is doing a great thing. Now I guarantee you that doesn't probably drive engagement in terms of buying socks, but what it probably does is that it probably makes John Smith, manager, feel a little bit better about his work, right? And so like I think from a corporate communication standpoint, there can be a strategy behind it. No, I say all of that to say, if that's all your marketing strategy, I think that you're missing out on a lot of other things, because there are people that want quality time and acts of service and other things because maybe, words of affirmation don't resonate with me,
We hit that on our like 2 or 3 maybe 5 or 6 podcasts ago about the having to.
We've done a few now.
Yeah, market for recruiting and market for sales, right?
So yeah,
you hit that, Taylor.
And we've talked about this. I mean, I think we all have a separate career in marketing, which is again one of the reasons why we started Unicorn Finders, was to like kind of flex on the marketing skills a little bit, and I think flex on them. I think it's what we talked about. I think there needs to be marketing. I think marketing right now is like the most important thing from a branding and company perspective to survive and be able to develop yourself, I guess, separately from your competitors during COVID. Like, I think, listen, us 3, to be transparent with the few people who are still watching at this point, like we have had a ton of discussions behind closed doors, us 3, even one yesterday, where it's like, what do we want to do? How do we want to do this? How do we want to be perceived? Like, how do we want to get out there? How do we want to brand? Like, there's so many conversations that we're doing, us 3, off air. And one of the reasons we're doing this live thing is like, hey, we want to get in front of you more. Like, the reason why we want to do this, like, we all live busy lives, but the reason why we want to do this is to get in front of you. But I think going back to it, I think there needs to be internal marketing from a company perspective. There's the external marketing to your customers or users. And I think you need to be putting so many more dollars into your marketing budget right now. That probably is borderline uncomfortable. And I will tell you, it's going to come out probably net positive on the back end of this pandemic. And to be honest, we have put our money we have put some dollars in individually into the Unicorn Finders because we know that brand and marketing right now is the thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Jake, talk to me a little bit about what you want to see. I'd be curious to know both of your thoughts, and then I can wrap up my thoughts on this question. What do you want to see as a consumer in marketing campaigns from companies or products that you're interested in, or even not interested in, just out there?
So if I'm hitting, let's just keep with socks because we already started. From a storytelling perspective, there's so many opportunities. So I worked, I don't know if many of you know, but I worked and lived in South Central Los Angeles for a good year, working with homeless, with gang communities down there in the projects. One of the biggest deficits that we actually had was socks. Like that was like a huge missing piece for a homeless there, right? So if just knowing a need or doing research on a need specifically, that's going to impact positively, I would much rather see those marketing dollars being spent towards giving and filling something. But again, for me, community minded is like the number one thing for me, not political minded, God save us, but community minded in that sense. So as a consumer, it's like, all right, I want the best quality and I'm going to pay for it because I just want the best quality. If that best quality also gets shared because they actually have that margin because they're charging me too much for socks, which by the way, they are damn expensive. And they're sharing some of that for people in need. I want to hear those stories. If the people that are working in the company believe in that mission and believe in the quality product, they better be wearing some Bombas and they better be sharing some Bombas. There, that's a catchphrase for you. There you go, internally.
Wearing and sharing.
This is why we do this call. We're just gonna spit out marketing campaigns for people.
And just add Bombas.
Yeah. And in that sense, like if you really wanted to highlight that boss, and that boss happened to be like a marathon runner, or they do walks for ALS, or they do all this kind of stuff, it's like, why not tell the story with your platform of having, man, so-and-so boss out of Milwaukee, his father, was struggling with ALS. He started this foundry here. We're coming alongside this employee. We're donating the socks. We're donating cash. We're donating our video presence and our reach in order to come alongside what our employees believe in. And they believe in us and we believe in them. And that's why you should continue to support us and be a part of it. Also, happy birthday to that same boss.
Taylor, what about you, buddy? What do you want to see in marketing?
No, I mean, I think, I think design, right? So I'm going to go a little different. I think design, color, so my wife, shameless plug, commercial photographer, Jackie O Photography. Like we've talked about,
really good one.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about corporate photography and like how important she's blowing up right now because companies, at least in my mind, I mean, we've talked about this, companies need product and whatnot. I think the look and feel of how things are really important, really important. Mm-hmm. And I think, Unicorn Finders, like we chose to pick this certain color palette, this certain color, right? We like the white space. We love like the purples and the pinks and kind of that vibe.
It's clean and happy.
It's clean and happy, right? And so I think that's important. I think people can see that you use Canva or use another easy tool to just put something together. And I think design, and maybe we can get a designer on soon. We can talk about, empathy and design. I think that would be a cool topic, but I think all that comes across as inauthentic to the user. So that is kind of my big take, my big complaint with companies. So Dan, go ahead and wrap us up. And then before we wrap us up, Jake, who's joining us tomorrow? So tomorrow we're going live.
Oh man.
So Jake, give a quick peel behind the onion of who's coming on tomorrow.
I'm giddy a little bit just every time I talk to this guy. He's just like exudes so much joy in everything that he does, whether it's his community, your family life, or work. And his success has definitely been. He can attribute his success to that mindset. His name is Larry Long Jr. and he's really well known in our areas, especially. But he's speaker, author, sales leader, multiple startups, investment in multiple startups, on boards. And just a great dude. I'm super excited. So he's going to talk about positivity through adversity. And I think it's going to hit really hard. So that's going to be 1 p.m. EST tomorrow, live, Unicorn Finders. So just be prepared to see me giggle, because that's just how it works.
Dude, I just
He's a
can't
giggler.
one clip of him. Like, we're all gonna have to drink some coffee and bring the noise
Like,
because that
I'm
man,
here for it.
It's
that
so
man brought
good.
some energy. That man brought some energy. So Dan, go ahead and wrap us up,
Yeah,
buddy.
it's
Last final thoughts on branding and marketing right now, and then we'll close it out and get on with our days.
Yeah, no, I think the biggest thing that we've learned out of all of this is that you have to be diverse in your strategy, because all three of us have kind of said different things about what we're looking for, right? Whether it's the humanizing of the employees and making them feel, like they're a part of a big mission, or whether it's the storytelling of what those employees have done, maybe with your product or whatever that might be, or whether that's the design and everything else. I think that it's the collective of that. So I think that that's, what it boils down to when you're coming up with a strategy is, how do I speak? And I use the love languages, and I'm sure there's some fancy marketing or PR, groupings of something similar, ethos, right, that are out there. But I think that that's so important. If all of your marketing is just one thing, you're missing out on probably 80% of the population. If all of your marketing is two things, you're probably missing out on 60%. So be diverse, be consistent, I think is the biggest thing. And ultimately drive a message, drive a call to action, do something that makes me want to be interested more in your product, whether that is, like for me, humanizing or shouting out and applauding your employees and your workforce, or whether that's the storytelling behind, or whether that is the design. Be persistent, be consistent, and ultimately, be diverse in who you're trying to reach out to. Because if it's just one thing and you're constantly pushing the same messages over and over and over again, I'll give a shout out to to a company that I think could do more. I love what Duvin is as a brand, right? They do swim trunks, they do Hawaiian shirts, they do polo shirts.
Going into golfing.
Yeah, going into golfing. They're an incredible brand, and they've got an incredible product, but every single one of their photos is the exact same. So if you want to sell into that just one demographic of people, then yeah, like that's probably where you're going to be. But I don't know anything about them as a company, them as a brand, outside of just, very good looking people wearing their clothes. So I would love to learn more about them. So that's what I'm talking about building a diverse strategy. But we can talk for hours on this, Taylor.
I know,
This
we
is
talk
really
for hours. I
good.
love it. Well, boys, that was a good hang. Looking forward to tomorrow hanging out with y'all. And again, I think this is going to be fun to hang out every Wednesday at 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Central. So appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great Wednesday.
Love it.